Acids and salts share a vocabulary trap that costs marks in both directions. Sometimes you're asked what you'd actually see happening, and the answer written down is a chemical name instead. Sometimes you're asked to name a product, and the answer is a description of bubbles instead. Add to that 3 different ways to make a salt, depending on nothing more than whether it dissolves in water. A definition of oxidation and reduction that gets swapped more often than almost anything else in the syllabus. And a reactivity series that decides on its own whether a reaction even happens at all. 4 ideas, 1 thread running through all of them. Precision in exactly what's being asked. Let's start with a distinction that sounds obvious until you're actually in the exam. Observations and products. If a question asks what you would observe, what you'd actually see, hear, or feel, the answer is bubbles, a color change, a temperature change, a solid disappearing, a precipitate forming, not the name of a chemical, magnesium reacting with hydrochloric acid. The observation is fizzing and the magnesium ribbon getting smaller. If instead the question asks what product is formed, the answer changes completely. Now it's the actual substance, magnesium chloride and hydrogen gas. Same reaction, 2 completely different answers, depending entirely on which word the question actually used. Now, a set of methods that depends on exactly one property. Does the salt dissolve in water or not? For a soluble salt, made from an acid and an insoluble solid, a metal, an insoluble base, or a carbonate, the method is: add the solid in excess so all the acid reacts, then filter off the leftover solid and evaporate the filtrate to get crystals. For a soluble salt made from an acid and a soluble base or alkali, you can't use excess solid because there's no leftover to filter. Instead, you titrate, adding the alkali carefully until the acid is exactly neutralized. And for an insoluble salt, the method changes entirely. Mix 2 soluble solutions together, and the insoluble salt forms immediately as a precipitate, which you then filter out directly. No evaporation needed at all. 3 different methods, and the only thing that decides which one applies is solubility. A definition that gets swapped in the exam more often than almost anything else in this syllabus: oxidation and reduction. In terms of electrons, oxidation is loss, reduction is gain. The classic memory aid is OILRIG. Oxidation is loss, reduction is gain. In terms of oxygen specifically, oxidation means gaining oxygen, reduction means losing oxygen. The swap happens constantly in both directions, calling a loss of oxygen oxidation, or calling a gain of electrons oxidation instead of reduction. Whichever definition a question is using, electrons or oxygen, check which direction is actually going before writing either word down. One last idea, and it decides whether an entire reaction happens at all: the reactivity series. Potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, carbon, zinc, iron, hydrogen, copper, silver, gold, roughly in order from most to least reactive. A more reactive metal will displace a less reactive one from a compound. A metal above hydrogen reacts with acid to produce a salt and hydrogen gas. A metal below it doesn't react with acid at all. Get the order even slightly wrong, and a displacement question that should have worked on paper suddenly doesn't, or a reaction predicted to happen shouldn't have been predicted at all. Quick practice first. Zinc reacts with dilute sulfuric acid. State 1 observation you would make and name the gas produced. Bubbling or fizzing, and the zinc getting visibly smaller. The gas produced is hydrogen. Now, a full exam-style question, tying together everything in this lesson. Part A. Describe how you would prepare a pure, dry sample of zinc sulfate crystals, starting from zinc carbonate and dilute sulfuric acid. Part B. Magnesium ribbon is added to blue copper sulfate solution. State 2 observations and explain, in terms of electrons, what happens to the magnesium. Part C. Using the reactivity series, Explain why no reaction occurs when copper is added to zinc sulfate solution. Part D. State the gas produced. And one observation when magnesium reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid or to. Part A. Add zinc carbonate in excess to the acid, so all the acid reacts. Filter off the leftover solid, then evaporate the filtrate to obtain zinc sulfate crystals. Part B. The blue color fades and a pink-brown solid deposits on the magnesium. The magnesium atoms lose electrons, oxidized, forming magnesium ions. The copper ions gain electrons, reduced, forming copper atoms. Part C. Copper sits below zinc in the reactivity series, and a less reactive metal cannot displace a more reactive one from its compound, so nothing happens. And Part D. Hydrogen gas is produced since magnesium is above hydrogen in the reactivity series. The observation is bubbling and the magnesium ribbon getting smaller. So, 4 ideas, one thread running through them. Observations describe what you see. Products name the actual substance. Read which one the question is asking for. Salt preparation, excess solid and filter, or titrate or precipitate directly. Solubility decides which. Oxidation is loss of electrons or gain of oxygen. Reduction is the opposite. Check which definition the question is using. And the reactivity series decides, before you even start, whether a reaction happens at all. I've put all 4 in the notes. Revise it on StudyRevise while it's fresh.